Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of the Financial Game Plan. I'm Rebecca Powers here with Skip Kelly. Skip and his family created Terra Firma Financial Advisory, and you've worked with what, hundreds of families, right?
Oh, yeah, no, we have about over 400 families that we work with now.
And you're an independent fiduciary. You don't do the cookie cutter approach. You are the opposite of the big box. Last week, we promised that we were going to talk about the locations of your offices and your family and just kind of take us inside, Skip.
Take you inside. Well, the question there is, where do you start? We started out, actually, it's an easy story. I had this great little office in the Mill Buildings in Manchester down along the river. I loved that, but we had 2 parking slots. Very, very busy area. So over the years, I was always looking for a better place. And I always had in my mind what I was looking for. I wanted an old, comfortable building, or some place where it would be homey. And we ended up, believe it or not, putting our next office in an old retired funeral home. And you wouldn't believe it. It was so comfortable. It was so beautiful, gorgeous old Victorian. And but I didn't own it, and the guy who did own it wouldn't sell it to me. So after a number of years, I finally asked him, if you're not going to sell it to me, can you let us out of the lease? And so he let us out of the lease. But I had, for years and years, walked the north end of Manchester, because that's where all the old, elegant, old Victorians are that, fit perfectly with a business type operation.
Yeah.
And so we were lucky enough to get an office on Chestnut Street in the north end, which is just a nice area. It's out of harm's way from the center city a little bit, but it's a beautiful old Victorian. We've put a lot of money into it and a lot of effort. But it's the kind of place where you just go and say, hey, I could hang around here all day. I mean, geez, where's the room with the couch and the TV? It's that comfortable. And then obviously the people that I work with are just wonderful, wonderful people that you like to work with and be around. So when you come into our office, it's a very comforting experience. You come in, Denise will have made you a plate full of warm cookies right out of the oven. We have Paul Newman organic coffee with real cream there.
Fancy.
We have my little 5-pound pooch, Nama, who's a lap surfer that don't be surprised if she's sitting on your lap. The point is, this is a very comfortable place to have a conversation about your finances. It's a nice place to hang out. There's no stress, especially, we talked about, I think, in our last show, first meetings and second meetings, but first meeting is just, it's very comfortable, and if it makes sense to continue the conversation, we'll have that second meeting. By the end of the second meeting, either you're part of our client family or you aren't. One way or the other, you'll figure out if we're a fit or not.
What I love about you, and of course your beautiful daughter Cody, and she's also works for
I didn't mention her, did I?
You didn't mention Cody. Oh, that's why I was setting you up, but no. She's amazing. Brilliant and beautiful. Very, very kind. Just had her second baby. I think the thing that impresses me the most about Terra Firma is there is no intimidation. The intimidation is taken out because it's so hard for people to bite the bullet and walk in. It's a scary thing, Most people don't have a written plan because they're scared to face that. So when you take the intimidation out, you don't even wear a tie in the office. He just does it because we tell him to on the show. But it truly
which may end
is.
soon.
Take it off. Let's just do it right now. But it truly ends when you walk in that door, between your dog on your lap and the comfortable, Victorian thick carpet everywhere. Do you find that 9 out of 10 people don't have a written plan because they've never been taught to and they feel intimidated? Well,
you use the word that they're afraid. And I believe that entirely. Most people don't. Many times, the reason that they procrastinate is they don't want to know.
Right.
Whether they're thinking the worst or they're not really sure on what the heck they really need to be doing. And they don't want to look like they don't know what's up. Everyone thinks that they have to be very confident in regards to their finances. Most people don't have a flaming clue.
That's right.
When I say that, it's that they don't really know what they're invested in, what they should be invested in, how they're going to utilize these instruments in retirement to augment their Social Security. They have no idea. And we put that all together. The other thing is that they haven't looked at all the other peripheral items that we talk about week after week after week. Taxes, Roth conversions, estate planning. We do that all under one roof. That was the goal that I had from the very beginning when I was sitting in a 2-man office down along the river. I wanted to have an office that handled everything for a pre-retiree or a retiree, financially, legally, and tax-wise, all under one roof to make it very, very easy for our clients. And it finally came to fruition about 4 or 5 years ago, where we finally got Peter 𝙁𝗏𝗏𝗏, our tax attorney, who does tax returns, tax planning, and also estate planning. So we have it all together in one roof. We make it easy for our clients. And I got to tell you, it really changed everything in the manner that we do business once we were that global in what we were trying to accomplish for our clients.
And the one-stop shop is not only convenient, but you are literally the right hand is speaking to the left hand. Right? Didn't you find in your decades in the past that, like I used to be, I had this guy, this broker doing my portfolio, this one buying my insurance products. It was like they were separate islands.
They have no idea what each other's doing. They're competing for your money. They can't put a plan together for you.
Yeah.
But not only do most people have some guy that they handle some insurance products,
right,
some guy that might help them with a market account or an IRA or a Roth or an account, but they also will have a tax return, a tax preparer, and they might also have an estate planning attorney. So how many more people do you have to get involved?
Yeah.
The whole point, we do that all under one roof. And so, we have continuity when we're working with our clients. We know everything that's going on in their portfolio. There's never any questions or surprises because that's why we have annual reviews. And if we're managing enough money, we'll actually have quarterly phone calls. But, that way, there's no surprises. We all know what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it.
The holistic approach. If anything, we've talked about if you don't have a written plan, if you don't have the holistic approach, do not feel intimidated. We've all been there. I think we all grew up not really being taught finances. I have friends who are physicians that don't even want to look at what's going on with their financial health. It is really this amazing opportunity. Give us a call, meet with Skip, and give them that number and invite them in again before we take a break.
Well, if anything that we just talked about makes sense and resonates with you, then why, oh why, wouldn't you just dial us up at 844-823-6398 and get the ball rolling? We're going to know within 2 meetings whether or not we're a good fit and it makes sense. There's no stress involved in this at all. The only stress involved is probably going to be, are we going to work with this guy or aren't we? It's not a big deal. And guess what? If we go through 2 meetings and you decide that we're not a good fit, we can still be friends. And as I say at the dinner seminars, if I bump into you in the mayonnaise aisle over at the basket, that's the market basket for you people who aren't from New England, then you don't have to run to the next aisle. We can still be friends, I promise you.
Absolutely. And your daughter actually told me once that even people that come in and that you tell them, oh, you're ready for retirement, you don't even need me, good job. You didn't earn a penny, but they refer friends to you. It's all about a relationship.
But I will tell you, there are very, very few people that don't need tweaks in one manner or another, or don't need certain things to be looked at. So it's pretty rare when there's someone that we can't help at all.
Yeah.
But you're right. Listen, there aren't many people who have done a tremendous bang-up job and know what the heck they're doing. They might have gotten lucky. They might have had really good results, but really didn't have any idea how they got there. But that's great for now. What about in the future? How are we going to handle this portfolio going forward? How are we going to make sure that we're going to be able to maintain our lifestyle and we're not going to run out of money?
Absolutely.
Those are the tweaks that we try to put into place for people that pretty much do have a lot of their ducks in a row.
Absolutely. All right, there's the QR code as well, so you don't even have to dial the number to get that free first appointment. You can just aim your phone at that QR code, get an appointment with Skip, and we will be right back.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Ben. Hey, birthday party for Carol and 5. Happy birthday to you.
Good morning, Ben. Happy Monday.
Daryl's birthday, be there, be square. Happy birthday to you. As you can see from our quarterly report on slide number 62, we're trending in the right direction. All signs point to a very positive outlook for the next several years. If you peel back the onion,
Ben, do you have anything to add?
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back. The retirement of your dreams. That is exactly what Skip Kelly and his entire family created Terra Firma Financial Advisory firm to do. And we call the show the Financial Game Plan because, and I was in the boat with millions of Americans, most people who come into your office, Skip, you have said do not have an in-writing financial plan. You may have different pieces, but they're not working together. How do you start?
Well, I have to laugh before we get into that. You mentioned the retirement of your dreams. That's probably a pretty good tagline there, right? What you'll see on any email that I might send you or any letterhead that I send you is retirement with peace of mind. What a concept. Think about it. Is that too much to ask for? It shouldn't be. So.
You're very dry. I love, if you haven't noticed yet, if you've listened or watched our show, he is very, very dry. And I love that. And it's so true. You would think that's so matter of fact. Do you want a stressful retirement, a fearful retirement? No.
Take your pick.
I just want a peaceful retirement. It's not impossible, but in schools, we were never taught. I think fourth graders could understand basic compound loss, compounding interest, right? You have less money than you're spending. That means you need to adjust. Aren't these basics?
Simple things like that. Yeah, our kids haven't been taught anything, unfortunately, unless we teach them. They just don't get that in school. And of course, these days you can see what they're being taught in school, and it's like, you got to be kidding me. Ask kids, math questions, history. They've never been taught any history.
Right.
I know this is an aside.
Go ahead, it's your show.
I saw a meme the other day. 4 college kids. They were in a college in Georgia. And they were all asked one simple question. How much is 4 times 15? 4 college students. How many do you think got the answer right out of the 4? They were all buddies.
I don't know.
None. They came up with it. They all agreed that the answer after hemming and hawing was 48. 4 times 15 is 48. So what does that tell you what our kids have been taught, right? They can use all the help they can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
But these things should be taught in school.
Right.
They just simply aren't.
I really do feel like that's part of why people procrastinate and don't go into this first appointment or any appointment about financial planning because you're nervous. You haven't been taught. You don't really know what's going on. You've been working in your professional career many times.
They don't want to look stupid, Rebecca.
Exactly.
And it's like I say, this isn't about
You don't have to impress me.
I don't know anything about your job. What do you know about mine? This isn't stuff that you should just know. You have to learn it. You have to be taught. And I have a few clients, and I mean a few because really it's just very few out of hundreds of families that we work with that really do have a good feel for the markets and their portfolios and things of that nature, but it's just a very few because most people never take the time, and it takes years. It takes years to understand these things, how these different markets and different instruments play. And so don't feel bad if you don't know much about this. It's okay. That's why you come to see us. That's why we hold your hand. We're great hand holders. And maybe you can teach us something about your livelihood, but our job is to let you know or to bring you up to speed on what you need to know. You're never going to know everything, and you don't need to know everything. You just simply need to know how to put your family and yourself in a position where you can actually enjoy retirement and not stress about your finances every minute of every day. Because that's what a lot of people do in retirement. They haven't done the work to put themselves in the right position long term. And so it is going to be stressful, and it's going to be painful, and it can get ugly. And nobody wants that to happen. We all want to enjoy our last few years on this planet. And by the way, many times it's not just a few years anymore. For our grandparents, we figured that they'll probably live 5, 7 years in retirement. How long are we living in retirement now, Rebecca? Decades and decades.
Social Security wasn't set up for that.
No, geez,
And then longevity, you actually consider a risk.
Longevity is a risk. The longer you live, the more risks you're subjected to. So all these things need to be taken and understood. And many, many people, 65 years old, that was the retirement end zone where you would want to retire. And we're still using those. And at the dinner seminars, I talk about the fact when Social Security first came into play in 1934, what do you suppose the average man's lifestyle? How long were they supposed to live?
60?
Their lifespan is. The average man was supposed to live to 57.
Holy moly.
In 1934, 57. Yet in order to get Social Security, which was brand new, you had to live to 65.
You had to make it, yeah.
So, and of course, back then, if you did make it to 65, there were 49 people paying into the system for every single recipient.
That's a good point. And when they started Social Security, it was not taxed because it was a government plan, but now it is definitely taxed, right?
We were told it would never be taxed.
Yeah.
And I hate to tell you who the person was, the senator that was pushing the ball down the street to get Social Security taxed. You'll never guess who that was.
Who?
Well, we don't want to get political, but
well, that's something you just gave me to go look it up.
He's our fearless leader today, and he did it twice.
Really?
He went back to the well because the first time he decided that Social Security, this was back in the early 2000s, he decided that, well, if you make a certain amount of money, then we're going to tax 50% of your Social Security. And then they went back to the well about 10 years ago, and they bumped that up so that if you're a couple right now making over $45,000, then you're going to end up paying up to taxes on up to 85% of your Social Security today. Sooner or later, we'll all be paying it's not an 85% tax, it's 85% of our Social Security will be subject to the income tax.
Will be subject to the tax.
And you have to know that 100% is coming down the line.
Well, and it's frustrating because Social Security isn't just some free thing. We've been working for decades and we've been putting into our Social Security. So it's kind of taxed a lot.
Well, by the time we spend $1, it's already been taxed to smithereens. So,
And then, like you pointed out, put inflation on top of that, and our dollars are shrinking.
Well, and you better have a good plan. You better know what you're doing. And you just can't blithely think that retirement is going to be okay. And you can't blithely think that 65 is a good time to retire because many people need to work another 5, 10, 15 years if they're going to enjoy the last few years of their existence.
Absolutely. You just said it. It all starts with a plan. Let's give that number, invite them in, and this appointment truly is absolutely no charge.
Well, if anything that we're talking about here resonates with you, 844-823-6398, why not make the call? No more procrastination. Give yourself the benefit of as many options available to you, and the sooner we start talking, the more options are available to you. So give us a call, 844-823-6398.
And we'll be right back.
We know the market is going to get worse from here. This is the biggest monthly decline in 10 years. People's 401ks took a major hit.
Well, my investments are tanking. My retirement isn't going as planned. I can't believe I let my kid talk me into buying crypto. I mean, what is that anyway?
This was the fourth worst contraction in history.
So how are you two doing?
Your financial future doesn't have to be uncertain. I'm Skip Kelly of Terra Firma Financial Advisory. If you've amassed a nest egg, it's time for a financial advisor to help you reach your retirement goals. This is one of the greatest tax windows in history, and now is the time to take advantage of this tax discount while you can. Our expert advisors and tax specialists are fiduciaries that specialize in retirement planning, tax mitigation, estate planning, and more. Plan your retirement right. Call now for your own complimentary portfolio review and tax analysis.
Welcome back. Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm Rebecca Powers here with Skip Kelly, and we are talking about your financial game plan, not just your portfolio, but a beautiful binder, everything in writing, what you have, where you're going, what your goals are, and how to get you there. We've talked a lot about safety. Besides insurance products, and again, as a fiduciary, he can pick any product anywhere on the planet. Besides certain annuities, what are some other safe places that you like to move people's money who want to get out of risk? Do you like IULs or?
You know, whether or not this is going to go over well with some people, I can't tell you, but I will tell you this. Permanent whole life insurance is my single favorite instrument personally.
That's what you use?
That's what the smartest, richest people on the planet Earth get, as much permanent whole life insurance as the insurance companies will give them.
I'm sorry, permanent hold?
Permanent whole life, W-H-O-L-E.
Permanent whole. I'm literally writing this down.
Same the same insurance platform that your grandpappy used to have. You know, you talked earlier about variables and indexed and universal and things of that nature that are used in the insurance industry. All of those things are variables that you don't need involved in your life insurance. So again, most people by the time they're 55, and I'm talking to them, or older, maybe the time has gone by. However, if they are wealthy, then one of the single best places that they can put their money is in a permanent whole life plan. The reason is this: you will never pay any taxes on any of the monies that you utilize in those plans. And remember, we're not doing these for the death benefit. We can buy term insurance for the death benefit, but a whole life plan is going to create a wealth of money that at your disposal, at your fingertips. In fact, I call it the bank of Skippy. I'm building up the cash value where I can do whatever I need to do when the time comes. I never have to get on my knees and go to a bank and beg for money in the form of a loan, because I've built up a reserve where I just don't have to do that anymore. And I think I gave you an example of that with a piece of property I bought up at the lake about 6 months ago. So again, we're not doing these for the death benefit. We're doing them for the living benefits while we're still on this planet. And or if we're not just creating a bank that we can utilize to take advantage of investments, then we're creating our own personal pension. So again, it's an understanding that most people just simply don't have. They just like the word annuity. They go, ugh. And it's the same thing when you say life insurance. Ugh. I get it, just because you don't know what you don't know. But when I see someone who is in a position where they can make that fly, I will always talk to them. It's not the first thing that we talk about. The first thing is getting that income plan squared away. But then when I'm looking at other instruments, we're trying to figure out what are the best possible positioning for these accounts. And that's just one more place that you can utilize if you want to.
Yeah.
I love them, but they take time to build up. You know, you don't just, start putting money into a permanent whole life plan and then start withdrawing. You got to build them up for 10, 15 years. But when you do, I tell you what, it gives you peace of mind like you've never had before.
Is the one you're talking about, this type of tool, do you have to do a medical exam?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so age and health matters.
Yeah. If you have the opportunity to get any kind of life insurance and they're not going to do a paramedical exam, then you're paying too much for that instrument.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because they're taking for granted that you're in a pool that is not the kind of pool that they're really looking for. They really want healthy people that they know are going to be living a long time. The insurance companies, okay?
Right.
So what they're saying is that, hey, we'll give you that insurance, but they don't tell you, and of course you hear that in commercials all the time, no exam, right?
Right.
That just simply means
higher cost.
that means you're paying a lot more for that policy.
A great idea that you or Cody mentioned to me a while back was, don't worry about your age and health necessarily. You could get one for your child. My daughter's 16, perfect health, very young. I'm worried about her taking care of our special needs son when we're gone. That was great advice, because she's so super healthy and young, so I can put it in on her.
It's great advice, and one of the biggest reasons for it is for her future education. When people say grandparents, of course, all my clients are grandparents for the most part, right? And they all want to know, what can we do for our grandkids? A permanent whole life plan, properly designed, that they can utilize during their lifetime, is the perfect gift for your grandkids. Just, like you're talking about, if you gave them money and put it into their checking account or savings account or whatever, every dime of that's going to be held against them in the court when you're doing your financial aid paperwork or package.
Oh, you don't get a Pell Grant.
If you're showing that they have monies in their accounts, that'll be monies that you will never get in aid. So you want to show your kids as broke when the time comes that they're going into college. And if you put them into a permanent whole life plan, they're not on the radar screen. When you have to do the FAFSA, anybody who put their kids through college, you got to fill out the FAFSA. You're not on that radar screen, and they could have hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash value in that permanent whole life plan, and it's not going to hold them back from getting a dime's worth of aid.
That is brilliant.
Oh, it is brilliant.
It's because I'm the youngest of 6, and I remember when I went and applied for Pell Grant, they said, sorry, your parents make too much money. I'm like, really?
Well, that too.
We're broke. We have a horrible car and no AC, and there's 6 kids and 1,000 square feet. But you're saying if you do something like that, insurance products are never looked at as income?
Not life insurance with the FAFSA, that's correct.
Okay. And what about tax? What are the tax ramifications?
Well, again, we're kind of going down this road for life insurance. And if it's the properly designed plan and you're utilizing the monies properly, you will never be taxed on any monies that you take out during your lifetime, or your beneficiaries, if they're left a death benefit, they'll never pay any taxes on that either. So I call it a Roth on steroids. If done properly, it's got to be properly designed. And that's why you need someone who knows what the heck they're talking about. I was very fortunate getting the mentors when I first got into this business who taught me these things. Most people, even insurance agents, have no idea what I'm talking about right now.
Really?
And it's not rare. It's very, very common, especially for the money set, as I had mentioned. The more money you have, the more interesting this should be to you.
Yeah, and you definitely want to get a situation where someone is looking out for your best interest and the big picture. But again, we weren't really taught all this when we were kids. All right, let's get you that number one more time. We're about to say goodbye. We want to make sure you can even pick up your phone. We made it easy. See that QR code on the screen? You can just aim your camera at that. It'll take you right to our landing page. And please have your calendar ready. We want to make sure you get in with Skip and his awesome team. As he said, is extremely welcoming and warm. Give the address one more time. And I'm going to let you say goodbye and just invite our friends at home in.
You want the address or the phone number? I'll give you anything you want.
Give me both.
Well, our main office is in Manchester, up on 764 Chestnut Street. Beautiful, beautiful area up in the North End. We also have 2 satellite offices, one up in Laconia and one over in Hampton, that we meet our clients there on a convenience basis. But the phone number is this, 844-823-6398. Give us a holler. Let's see if it makes sense to have that conversation.
It all starts with just a warm conversation, and you said you even have a cookie
warm
machine.
Cookies, yeah.
Warm cookies. He rolls his eyes. I bet that was your wife's idea, the warm
I can't
cookies.
eat them.
Oh, so you'd have to smell them all day.
Everybody loves them. I can eat them, but I don't want. We send everybody home whether they eat them or not. We say, give them to the guy standing at the stop sign in the corner, right, with the guy with the hat in his hand.
Are you going to give him a cookie
Do something, but
instead
get
of
those
$5?
cookies out of here. Better than on his hips than mine.
All right, come eat the cookies. Come look under the hood of your financial health and start your financial game plan. It can all change today. We love you, and thanks for joining us.